With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
So. As I was sitting here working on Project Conference 5, I just couldn't help but take a look at certain things, especially what goes on in the news. So, like how I have a whole network of friends around me, and we always talk about what's going on in the world. It's amazing to see that, once again, personal ads don't get the job done now. This particular person has given, let's see, that's just $10, right? Wait, no, what's that extra comma there? $10,000 towards some lady in order to get at least a hug, whereas she is taking that money now with her boyfriend and going on a trip around the world. This is a pandemic upon pandemics right here. This got to be stopped, man. Don't ever do this. $10,000? Ooh, do you know what you could do with $10,000? You can make it grow into at least $100,000 if you're smart. This is some dumb assery here. Oh, God, the Simps. Anyway, here we go. We're going to go ahead and fight some Simps. Welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
How's it going, everybody? Hey, welcome to the J-Man Show for episode 295. I'm your host, J-Man, of course, and we're only 5 remaining before we get to 300, so, it's just gonna be friggin' awesome. Actually, 4 remaining before we get to 300, so, because, that 5th one does count. I'm just like 5 away. Here we are, and not to mention the growth, the excitement, the anticipation, and everybody in the J360 Legion being respectful, you know what I'm saying? I'm very appreciative to all of you out there, in addition to those that are actually going to stumble upon this show, somehow find their way here. You're welcome to be a part of this. And let me just tell you, the growth has been very, very intense. Not intense. It's been very interesting regarding everything, because everything's finally working. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to excuse me because I'm trying to gasp for air here because, look, I know it's not my money. I know it's not your money. God, I hope it's not. But the fact that this is somebody's money that they have given to someone that they don't know. I mean, she could be as beautiful as all that. That's gotta be a beautiful woman. That's gotta be the most loveliest woman on the planet to give her $10K. Give her $10,000. Oh man, my wallet's hurting. You know what I mean? I'm not even involved in this transaction, and I'm feeling the pinch. You understand what I'm saying? Like, some folks do live in a recession because they do recessionally stupid things. This is it. This is not good. You know what I mean? Like, yes, human communication and human relationships are at an all-time low. And even if they are high, they are plateauing. And you would hope for, better communication. You would hope for, with the way of technology, that communication would be easier, right? No, not by a long shot. Communication has not been any harder. It's been convenient, but it hasn't been easy like anything, We have all these many ways to communicate with one another, and in half the damn time, there's nothing good being said across each and every special device that we have for these things. Not even the phone is a phone anymore, It's a little bit of everything else other than a phone. Have you ever been in a situation where, people are like, hey, I don't like talking on the phone, I like texting more? That is the biggest red damn flag for me. I used to hate that with girls my own age, even when I was a kid, like when all this stuff was starting to become a thing, where like people were always like, yeah, I like texting, I don't like talking on the phone, I don't like talking on the phone. You know, what bothers me with that is, it's like, do you know that is the original way to communicate? To really just use your damn mouth to actually speak? There are people out here who are muted. There are people out here who can't see. There are people out here who can't hear. There are even people, dare I say, who cannot pee or poop without assistance. But oh my God, the things we take for granted, right? And don't just say because you're introverted, and don't just say because, like, Mercury's in retrograde or whatever bull crap you guys use from the zodiac sign. The zodiac has nothing to do with you being a shit individual. Keep that in mind. All right? We will go and drive into this whole thing because, see, communication should be the heart of everything, the heart of every relationship, friendship, association, whatever it is. The communication is the most important part. And that being said about communication is that some people walk around here through life and they never get the skills, or they never get to practice said skills, or any sort of way of working out how to voice how they feel on the inside and all. And that's why they hurt themselves trying. And that's why, like, they go through more problems than a little bit, or things fall apart on the inside because you're not communicating well. And sometimes you can look at somebody for how attractive they are, and there are people who are really attractive and they cannot communicate well to save their own life. They can't even enunciate a lot of things. They can't even go ahead and pronounce stuff correctly to the point where it's like, I know you're trying to say something, but I don't have any feeling for what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? And the worst part about that stuff is these people are popular and have like thousands and thousands of followers, but here's the thing. A lot of people follow fools all the time, don't they? Just to see like how far it goes. Or, and to some extent they probably hate themselves. There's a reason for why people do what they do. Okay? But there, as I say it, though, the communication being the heart of the issue and the heart of the problem, these simps, on the other hand, yes, they are so deprived. I mean, even looking at Kneecap turns them on now and again. I had a friend one time who did like a spicy photo where she showed herself in underwear and she had her knees showing and them thick thighs, though. And I was like, ooh, look at them thickums you got out there. And the only reason why I didn't jump on the chance is because she was my ex, one of my exes anyway. And I was like, look at what you doing. The one I actually am friends with. So, yeah, I guess in the history of J-Man, there is one person I actually get along with who had feelings with, And then I look over at her fans drooling and trying to climb up there. I was like, woof, you don't have a drought going on at all, do you? Like, I was just roasting her about it. But the funny part is, though, it's like, there are people out there who are so deprived, like they'll utilize all these things. They'll utilize emojis, they'll utilize like saying the most dumbest stuff. And as you say dumb things, it's percentage of cringe is strong in it. And then as all that cringe is all together, and they had the nerve to be either a dominant male form, or they could be female too. You never really know, it's the internet. But chances are it's probably a male sitting over there saying all that stuff. And then at the same time, when they get called out on, oh, I'm just being nice. Oh, you can't handle me give you a joke. And then start spurging all sorts of ways because, like, they can't handle it. And I know we're not allowed to say that, but let me just get that out there. Like, some of these people, when you hold them to task and you tell them to be accountable for their actions, they can't handle it, right? Like, the meltdown is real when people can't be accountable for their actions. So it's like this, when you start acting a certain way and you start messing things up for you, or you start going head over heels for somebody that doesn't even know you, like you're not even giving time for the relationship to grow. She doesn't even know your name, and then you over here showering with gifts. Like giving one gift, like maybe a trinket is cool, or like say like if you have a relationship and a connection there, and like, it's mutual, like really mutual. Like you never put any money down. Like it was something that was strong and it was growing and it was like, cohesion. But after a while, it was over time. It wasn't like, hey, the first day I'm in love with you and stuff like that. No. It doesn't work like that. I mean, you might be in lust, you might be infatuated, you might say, damn, that's a good-looking girl, I wish she was in my neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that the many ways of relationships could work out, but it really depends on the people involved. But these are people that, at the talking stage, foul up, or at the, the rules of engagement, and nobody knows exactly what those rules are because Me Too came along and ruined all that stuff, in addition to like sexual harassment or whatever is weaponized these days. Because even if you say certain things that are a form of flattery, if that person doesn't like you and find you to be repulsive in such a way that they could go ahead and call you out on your looks and all that kind of stuff, and they felt uncomfortable, that's all the evidence they need to go ahead and put any sort of litigation against you. It's insane, but it's there. And the truth is that, like, it gets you to the point where you can't even trust anything, including yourself. Like, you're always questioning yourself whether you made the right moves or not, right? Whether at the same time, like, that person really likes you. You'll know because of the way they act around you and stuff. And if, like, at the same time, be comfortable in yourself and don't make, like, that person the center of your universe. You should be the center of your universe, whereas like some of these people are not. And as these people are not, and they figured, hey, I get to go and do all the nice guy stuff. I get to lay over flat for them. I get to give them money. I get to go ahead and do all these things for them. Some of you Marvins from the Players Club out here acting this way. Because Marvin loved him some Diamond, didn't he? He thought he was going to get the girl all over that night. I spent a lot of money on you, and you act like I don't deserve shit. Hey, I ain't seen the movie in 10 years, but I always remember that scene. Because there's a lot of people that do this. You throwing money down on somebody who doesn't know you. Like, some people are crazy enough to the point where they're throwing so much money at them. It's like this. You're mad what they do with that money? I've said this before. Like, she's going to go to Bali. She's going to go to Kaibo. She's going to go to all of these places. She's going to have so much fun. And your ass is going to be going to work with your money. That's somebody with your money doing this stuff. Because you banked on the ideal. You banked on the idea of cozy conversations and candid pictures with her. Or at the same time, you signed up for things like OnlyFans, Fansly, or Fan House, or any of these. Because there's so many of these sites out here now because these alleged creators right here, they're not making money doing anything else, but since they got other natural grown talent, or in some cases, synthetic talent, they go ahead and utilize that because sex sells. I don't care what feminism says nowadays, or any of these prudes walking around here trying to tell you that, oh no, you should love me for my mind, not my body. And then they go proceeding to sell their body. So, because they know they got you by your balls, or they got you by your wallet, which is close to your balls, and going ahead and making a healthy profit off of it. See, the thing about it is, you are buying them, which they are the product, or at the same time, you're the rube and the pawn that's happily giving it over, hand over fist, by the way, thinking that you got a shot with them. And you see, the thing is, they're not going to communicate with you and tell you that this whole thing is an act. It's about as real as wrestling is. And don't even try to say it's still real to you, damn it. You know what I mean? It's like this. When you go to a strip club and stuff, it's an act. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the oogling and the enticing and the teasing. That's what you're doing. It's all a giant tease. And at the same time, you need to limit yourself on how much of this tease you have. Because if you're not going to have self-control, you're going to be spending well over $10,000 compared to this jackass that actually missed out losing that money. That money could be used towards, I don't know, getting a house, going on a business trip, starting a business, actually getting where you need to be as a person. Like, there are so many ways to do with 10 grand, even all the way down to 5 or 1 grand. But, you'll never see that because you're not putting yourself first. You're being the world's greatest universal doormat at this point for a bunch of people and things that aren't worth your time. Like, that E-thought right there, she's good to a point, because after a while, how far are you going to go seeing the same ass in a different pair of panties all the time? How far are you going to go when you see, like, certain things where, guess what? Yeah, she'll give you a personalized video, but that is a personalized video out of lots of personalized videos that she made for thousands of other thirsty, non-thinking people out here. And note I said people because guess what? Equal opportunity, right? Just because there's a male version out there that gets a lot of TV and a lot of talk time doesn't mean that there are female versions out there. And then also females that masquerade as men trying to do such a thing. And I'm not talking about the ones that made the change, like trans, our trans friends out here. I'm talking about those that will stalk. There are women that will stalk other women. I hope you know that. I hope you know this. Okay? Pay attention to what's going on, because simping is not helping out the ideals of men. Simping is not helping out the ideals of being a man that's growing into his own and being true to himself. And note, I'm not using any of the Greek alphabet for this designation. You know, like at the end of the day, you got to focus on you. You got to use your money wisely. You got to use things right for you. Otherwise, you know, if you're so naive and if you are so like easily tricked to the point, like, you know, anybody will sell you something and you're going to be sold on that optimism, right? You're not going to sit there and ask the question, well, hey, I got this knowledge. How am I going to use it to work for me? Because, like, everybody's life is different. There are some people that think that their lives suck. And then there's some people like me that think, guess what? I can improve my life and I can make it better for me. At least make this life livable. Like, I get it. Like, if you're not meeting somebody right now and all that kind of stuff, yeah, you kind of would want to pay for something, for a little companionship, I guess, or the ideal of subpar companionship, because she don't see you and stuff, you know? This is my ex-girlfriend. She's out there sexting and doing everything else, but she getting a lot of that work done, because, I mean, she might as well. She's about to hit that 40 and look it. I really shouldn't act that way. But hell, she deserves it. The thing about it is this. Stop giving money away like this to people who don't respect you. Stop giving your money away. Have a pecking order. And in that pecking order, you should be number one about that. So you should work on paying yourself. That goes for anybody who has an addiction, because, like, if you're not careful, like I said before, this stuff becomes an addiction. Didn't some guy who wanted to be a streamer, but it didn't work out, he ended up paying for a cam model hand over fist until he ran out of money, and then all of a sudden he started taking money from his family and doing the same thing until, like, you know, he got caught with it, and they told him not to pay any of that money back. Like, there was a whole thing about that where they tried to wean him off of it. He was so addicted, though, he ended up wiping out his family just so he could go ahead and keep that little subpar romance going. And at the same time, he got caught with it, by the way. But the whole point is, it's like, he got faced with the litigation. I think he has life, right? Until, like, parole at some point. But still, it's like, how far he went with that. And keep in mind, it's not the cam girl or the model's fault. Like, I will always say this. I can't get mad at the ones who are creating on OnlyFans and stuff without going at the ones who are actually investing in OnlyFans. And I always look at the ones that invest, too. I always look at, like, the audience. If you want to be fickle about something, be fickle about this. You know, after a while, there ain't no career in this nonsense. I mean, yeah, sure, make the money easily, I guess. But at the same time, there's still a little bit more to it than this. And then there comes the whole concept of, like, you could do a whole lot more beneficial things. There's better stuff to do, you know? Like, I could go at the ones that create the stuff, but what gets me, though, is that they're working. Like, you know, at the end of the day, that's somebody's job. That's somebody's working and all that kind of stuff. Putting on a show for a bunch of people out there who are lonely and can't find nobody, or take the time to try to find somebody. Like, even in this show, I don't have enough time to cover, like, the reasons of what people do, but I try to look for the main why of what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And there's always a main why to everything. And it's just like, you know, you didn't invest enough in yourself. You can tell some of these people that don't invest enough in themselves. Bad teeth, bad hair. You know, some of them are really, really skinny. A lot of them are really, really fat. A lot of them, like, you know, they live in neckbeard nests instead of apartments. And then there's those that, you know, who live in basements and stuff, because apparently that's the ongoing thing. Which, by the way, did you know, like, a basement is one of the coolest rooms in the house? Like, you know, it's supposed to be something to protect you during when, like, a tornado or even a hurricane or something drops down or something like that. That room is actually the most coolest, safest room that you can have if you have one. But people in general are so damn stupid and have to run with a narrative of things. They go ahead and utilize a derogatory, debauched version of anything. And it's just the same. It's so disgusting where we are as a people. But also, though, when I look at this kind of stuff right here, as I pointed all those things out, these people that are on these cam shows and stuff, they aim for people like that because they don't have any esteem. Until they meet somebody like me. Yeah, you would probably think that I didn't have any self-esteem, you know? But the thing about it is, I do. My confidence level is high, so is my ego, and so is my behavior. You don't make something like the J-Man Show without being a crazy confident man and actually running through with things. You know what I mean? My body has gone through different phases. There were times where I was ripped, and then there were times where I was roly-poly-oly. You know what I mean? Luther Vandross ain't got nothing on my ass, but I'm going to tell you like this. As I go through these things and stuff like that, and I've been around women and I've had sex in my life, the thing is that, like, you can't tell me anything. You cannot deal with somebody like me because I'm not going to give you money. I'm building my own stuff, baby. I'm living large. I'm making things happen. You know, you're not getting a drop of my money at all. Especially 10 G's. It ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? I must be dead or I must be hiding somewhere and left it out on the storefront or something. That'd be the only way. And you should see them too. Like, they'll come up in there and they'll be like, you can have deep, candid talk with me. I'll be able to get to know you. All that kind of stuff. It's like, you can do that right now. I don't want to talk to you on no damn OnlyFans. Are you out of your mind? You better go ahead and pillage somewhere else. You know what I mean? I'm not buying that nonsense and stuff. But you see, that's me. Because I know I can meet somebody 10 times better, and then as I keep growing and as I keep doing what I'm going to do, I'm going to have at least 5,000 to 10,000 different skeezers following me all over the place, wanting to get a piece of the pie. But for those of you that, you know, you work at your 9 to 5, you live for your 9 to 5, you do the best you can for that 9 to 5 and stuff like that. And, you know, they go ahead and try to find ways to give you a deficiency on things. Like maybe you're 5'5" or something like that. Or maybe you're bringing home like $55,000 a year and all that jazz. Like there's so many gatekeeping and so many moving the goalposts and stuff when it comes to people nowadays because they're so arrogant and think that their life is exactly how a celebrity's life is. And it's not. That's where it's a lie and where it's a joke and all these other things. But, you know, also I noticed like some people have social phobias to the point where they don't play the game and they don't try to be better versions of themselves and stuff like that, which you have to remind them. But you see, at the same time, you can only remind so much because depression is a disease, right? Like some people are depressed. Some people really, really go through something. And it's a mentality thing. And they always measure themselves up to other people. And sometimes it happens because of our parents. Our parents, like say like if you have siblings, right? And your parents are always comparing you to another person in your family. Even though all walks of life and we all turn out differently. We all come from the same stock, turn out differently. You know what I mean? It happens. Like some people are born with a golden spoon in their mouth. And then there are other people who have no spoon. But you know, at the same time, you got to just do the best you can. You're going to have to understand this. Not everything's fair in life, but at the same time, what the hell are you going to do about it? Or you're going to sit there and say you can do nothing. Now, let me just tell you this. This is the difference between me and most people. Most people say they can't do anything. I believe I can make a difference. Most people are not going to attempt to make a difference. I'm going to at least try. That's the difference between me and you. I'm going to at least go for mine. I'm going to make my life livable. Yeah, sure, I'm going to die just like you are. But at least I ain't going to be sitting there crying and whining in the same damn spot and then act like people or things owe me something. And then at the same time, place blame on other stuff. If I didn't become a success, if I didn't go ahead and do what needed to be done, then whose fault is it? It would be my damn fault. Just like that guy who spent that $10,000 like that, and all these other simps out here spending more of their money hand over fist. Or just like that jerk out there who wanted to get with Pokemon so bad, he ended up spending $500, which was his last $500 and his rent money, by the way. Gave up all the stuff so he could be with her, and that's how he ended up homeless. That's stupid. That is really, really stupid. Do you understand what I'm saying? There ain't no piece of ass out here that is valuable enough for you to spend any of that money on. Even though, like, some of them will try to say, a man is supposed to be provided. Shit, I'm provided for me. The hell with you. You know how many damn people like you can be bought and sold? And then at the same time, it's like this. Oh, I'm not being politically correct enough to say that, but I'm being real enough to let you know that's how you got to be sometimes. You got to be selfish with your time. You got to be selfish with your money a little bit. You got to, like, too much altruism is a very bad thing. And when you see that kind of stuff, when it's like, hey, you should tip me so I can give you something. So I'm not giving you a damn tip. Here's my tip to you. Get a real friggin' job and quit lying to all these skeezers. No, not skeezers. Quit lying to all these jerks and making them think that you care about them. I know how you really are. You know what I mean? Like whenever I see like thoughts and stuff like that, they can't fool with J-Man because J-Man knows the game. J-Man knows what they're all about and all that kind of stuff. Now, some of these people are my friends. Like, you know, some of these women that are walking around out here are my friends. And, you know, I took the time to talk to them, get to know them. And then at the same time, it's like this. I said, I know what you're about and I ain't paying one damn cent. So you good. Do you. I have no problem with whatever you're trying to make money about. It's just that this. If you got one of them thirsty dudes coming up in there and they acting like they got a shot with you and you know damn well you married with children, you better go ahead and let them know before that becomes, well, before your ass comes on the news and then I'm sitting there eating Chinese food watching some dumbass. You know what I mean? Because it happens all the time. I'm always sitting there watching the news to see if I see somebody's face that I know turn up on there. You know? It's just like, I wonder how the family doing. Things like that. It's sad, y'all. Anytime I see people do that kind of stuff, it's sad. Like romantic gestures and all that kind of stuff, it's been perverse because of the way we all treat one another, and it's been ridiculous because things are not accountable or in check like they should be. Like when you go ahead and you do OnlyFans at your own risk, okay? Much like anything else, you really need to take a look at all these things that are around here and utilize responsibility better. Otherwise, like, people will do this though. They don't want to be accountable for themselves. They don't want to admit they're wrong. They don't want to admit, like, you know, maybe I went too far. Maybe at the same time I could learn a lesson from this. They don't take time to slow down like that. What they do is they go that extra mile. They go ahead and they try to make things seem like, you know, they just go ahead and try and make it seem like it's the system's fault and the system has to do something about it. So, you know, that's why they try to get these bills written by their Congress people and stuff to go ahead and say, like, yeah, there needs to be a regulation on this. Yeah, you can't sign up for this unless you're a certain age and stuff. And that's not going to help because guess what? You can lie about your age on the internet. Like, the whole list of things is unbelievable. Ain't nothing more abused than the internet right now. And the thing is, everybody's doing their best they can to try to manipulate and control it and to make it harder for other people. That's the sad part of life. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting on well, the best thing to do is not let anybody know that you're getting on well, I guess. Or, like, say, like, if you don't need, like, certain company from thoughts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, I don't need it, but a lot of y'all do, I guess. I mean, I can't necessarily go against the market, but what I can say is just be smart about what the hell you invest in. Like, whenever you're buying something, okay, like, it shouldn't be your last bit of money that you're using to buy something. It should be money that you are willing to lose, willing to let go. You know, there's a reason why you have a savings account. Invest in that. Like really, really think about why you have certain devices and why, like, you use them and stuff. And these bimbos wouldn't care about you in any sort of way. Yeah, I'm saying it. Because think about it, they probably say worse about you on their own podcasts. But I'm just saying, like, they ain't thinking about you. They don't really give a damn. There's that one boyfriend over there that probably has no job, like my good friend Joe Moffat pointed out, and that whole thing with the guy giving his $10,000 away. For real. Yeah. And if you can go about, like, you know, they don't look at us. We're the nice guys. They don't really care about it. Things are so mixed up nowadays. It's not even about being a nice guy. It's not even about being a nice girl. It's not even about being a good person and all that kind of stuff. Because, you know, the lines are so broad and things vary. Like, sometimes we don't always have the same spirit and the same face as we normally like to say that we do. You know what I mean? We as people, we as humans, change with the phase of the moon sometimes. It happens. Like, you know, like sometimes the most negative traits can take over one day, and then sometimes the most positive traits can take over another day. And then there are moments where, like, you know, you just don't feel like being friendly. Or there are moments where, guess what, the mind is really complex and stuff, but the thing is we don't take the time to try to control our own minds. We want to control others because that's easy. Manipulation and going ahead with smoke and mirrors is another way outside of, taking care of yourself, pacing yourself, walking away, being true to what you're trying to do and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go ahead and counteract somebody's depression with my anger, but the thing about it is, I'm not going to, because that's abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go ahead and just hate everything and just, just hulk out and do what I got to do, but there's no point to that. You got to handle it a lot different. There has to always be a better and a different approach. Just like, with all this OnlyFans stuff where people profit off your loneliness. This is a company that was made to actually help creators make their money. But you see, the main kind of creators that make a lot of money are sex workers. And sex workers, their job is to go ahead and give you that experience. And experience to a point, there's always another way. I mean, at the end of the day, Homeboy could actually spend that 10... No, I'm not going to say it. It ain't the kind of show it is the kind of show to do it, but you see right off the bat, I ain't soliciting nothing at this point. But yeah, it's like debauchery is all over the place. Being deprived is like something you should do. And because like everything is all on high alert about how people's mentality is, whether you can be mentally ill or whether you could be triggered in some other fashion, or at the same time like what you're highly reactive to, it's all out here on display and people are making money for it. It's just like I said last time about like the mass shootings, and like people are dying and you're keeping a quota. There's a lot of sick stuff, and that's where life would be annoying. And that's where, like, at the end of the day, you got to be true to what you are. Like I said about that pecking order, put yourself first for a change. Don't think about that person as often. Go away for a little while and see if they give a damn about you then. I guarantee they won't. Because much like McDonald's, there's billions of billions served every time at an OnlyFans profile. On any of them. And I'm not going to say that they're not people, because sure, there will be some of them that come and say, we went through, you don't know what my life is like. I don't give a damn what your life was like. I don't have to know what your life is like. I know what you're doing right now. And it ain't good for weak-minded individuals like that so-and-so over there who thought that they had a shot with your tired ass. But like I say, you go back and go to work. This is him being responsible for himself, or her being responsible for herself, or any of them and theys out there being responsible for them and they self. But nobody wants to play the responsibility game. You know what I mean? It's like this, when a little bit of that money runs out, don't even worry about it no more. And I went on OnlyFans not too long ago, and I saw that they have like a wallet option now where you can take some money out, put it in the wallet, but you're not going to use that. You're going to let your debit card sit there, or your credit card sit there, and then when it comes time for that bill to come through, for the credit anyway, you're going to be sitting there like, woo, what happened here? How'd this get like this? Oh my God, I can't believe it. And not to mention the interest on it. I sure hope it was worth it. Because at the end of the day, that stuff doesn't care. Somebody out there living a good life, all that kind of stuff, and didn't have to do too much work for it because you went for a piece of skin. And thought that you were going to get married and all that jazz. It ain't an anime. It's not a video game. It's, like I said, life is a game, don't get me wrong. But it's not it's nowhere near as fun as a video game would be. And it's nowhere near as, like, enjoyable as, like, other things would be. Like, maybe if you give them, like, $20 and don't tip them, I mean, like, you're getting all that stuff to see, and then it's like this. Like, how excited can you be for the same ass in a different color pair of panties? How excited can you be to see that person's face getting older every time? There's a whole lot to that. Like I said before, though, just don't be like that guy, and don't be like certain people who, once again, spend a lot of money for companionship. Spend that money on you. Work on you. Get your efforts in. Think about yourself. And don't be afraid to talk to any of these people, which is weird in itself. Have you noticed that there's a lot of gatekeeping out there? No, you can't go over here. She would never be interested in you. And stuff. There's always that one person that's saying that dumb stuff. And I'm like, who the hell keeps making these rules, okay? Like with me, myself, like I said before, if you are over the age of 25, if you are single with no kids, and my ass is still floating around, and the truth is, I take an interest in you, I'm going to ask you out on a date. I'm going to talk to you. You know? And the red flags will present themselves based on exactly how you can handle it. And if you can't handle it, which a lot of people can't handle anything, especially when some people say, you know what? I will never bother with you. I will never fool with you, all that kind of stuff. You know? Because the thing about it is, you're being in control of yourself. You know exactly what kind of people you want in your friendship circle, and you know some people, they just aren't allowed in. That's just the way that is. And like, you know, we as men can play that too, in addition to how the women play it. It's always seeming like that where the woman is rejected and where the woman rejects the man. But here's the thing, you can be the man that rejects the woman, you can be the man that rejects everybody and everything, if you really want it to, within reason. And it can't be the reason of risk because, well, damn, you know, every and all things are a risk. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be mindful and you just got to be wise about things. But as per usual, people are never, ever going to look into that. They're just going to put the problems on display. And, of course, we all get a good laugh out of it. Just like, yeah, a lot of us laughed at this 10K guy who happily paid that very generous amount of money. It hurts me, man. That's why I'm really gasping for words right now, because I can't see in any universe where I would give a woman $10,000 in hopes of actually being with them. That going rate is insane, boy. I mean, like, shoot. You might as well put on some clown makeup if you're doing that kind of stuff, and then talk about why you don't have any money. I mean, hot damn. Oh, man. It's I don't know. Is that real laughter, or is that just cringe laughter? Like, I guess laugh to hide the tears. I guess that's the best way I could go about it. But, anyway, like I said before, it's a problem in this society because it makes it seem like all men look like that. It's a problem because it makes it seem like that is how relationships are formed. They're not formed. That's how, client and business individual and clients. Not business individual. It's entrepreneurs. That's how entrepreneurs and clients actually come together or something. Or like, you know what I mean? That's a different kind of relationship. So, like, when I see people say those things, it's like, that's not the way it works, fam. That is not the way it works. But anyway, I already gave you enough solutions to the whole thing, and I hope that a lot of you all don't end up this way, because it's an ongoing thing, because there's a lot of people that are getting scammed, catfished left and right. Matter of fact, like, there used to be a show about that, but that show's, I don't really care. I don't really care about the guy who even ran that damn show. But there is a channel that showcases all these people losing their money. And it can happen at any age, too. And it's just like, damn, man. It's such a deep rabbit hole, and I can't cover it all on the J-Man show. But there might be a day where I do a documentary on this stuff. Might be. Whew. Anyway. You guys take care of yourselves. You got Project Conference 5 coming up later tonight, so you had a bit of a 2-in-1. You get what I'm saying? But until then, y'all take it easy. This is J-Man signing off. Peace.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.